Hello YouTube, this is Darkon633 and we're looking at the final Legends release in the Wave 2 of the Titan Returns figures, and that is Rumble. Once again, Hasbro has done the whole deal with changing between the two characters, between Rumble and Frenzy. It's something that's been annoying me ever since they released so many variations of the two characters, because it keeps bouncing back and forth between whatever names, even though obviously many of the G1 fans are more familiar with this being Frenzy in the G1 cartoon. It's just something that's been really annoying what they've been doing with between the two names. Once again, he is reusing an existing mold, and that is Eject. Just as a comparison, here he is with Eject. And this is where it gets kind of disappointing. While it does have a lot of retooling enough to represent Frenzy and Rumble, one thing that is always something that's been annoying me when it comes to these releases is that unfortunately, they seem to always omit or just forget about releasing some kind of the pounders that they use in the cartoon. It's kind of one of the biggest gimmicks that they had within the G1 continuity, so once again, it is unfortunate that they just went straight with the little blaster that Eject comes with. And when the real Rumble decides to come to existence, I think it's going to be the exact same way, so it is going to be a bit unfortunate. At least with this, they definitely did a lot better with the other release with the Legends, and that was Pipes and Huffer, since they didn't even bother retooling the head again when Pipes decided to get released. So at least they give some credit that Hasbro made enough difference to actually represent the character enough. The box, as normal, picture of Rumble, his tank mode, transfers in 12 steps, and that's about it. You're going to get the same thing otherwise. He comes with the bio card, as usual. Back bio. He's really weak in 2 of the stats, but really good in the last one. I think that's firepower for what I can tell. Anyways, that's about it. Articulation-wise, you're going to get the exact same thing we've seen with Eject, but surprisingly enough, his head is a lot better on my Rumble than it was on Eject, so it might have just been a Wave 1 QC problem as normal, but this time at least it stays in really well, so it swivels there. Really nice ball joints at the shoulders, also inward movement, swivels at the biceps, but it does get caught, so it can only swivel it so far, and then it actually gets caught in that position on both sides, so there you go. He does have 90-degree elbow joint, but no other joint in the hands. No waist articulation, but ball joints at the hips, ball joints at the knees, and feet could pivot a bit due to transformation, which now we'll get to. First, we're going to collapse these pieces here, so it looks like that. We're going to take off the gun piece there, pull the panels. It's going to be the exact same thing we've seen with Eject, so we're just going to quickly run through it. So, pull on the panels, open up the chest cavity, close it off, collapse, pull these pieces up, turn the legs, turn these around, and then peg them in. And there we have Rumble, or Frenzy, in his tape deck mode, or tablet mode. Now this one, a whole lot of things are happening. It's got a whole lot of data running through it and so on. Not really sure exactly what these are supposed to represent and so on. It's just a whole bunch of random data and so on, and it looks like there's some kind of targeting of maybe some kind of training mode or something. I don't really know otherwise. Just as a comparison, we're going to quickly transform Eject, just to have a quick comparison between the two. And then here he is with Eject. Now, while Eject went more towards the G1 cassette style, this is obviously just data and so on. So I guess that's kind of cool. You can plug in the weapon on the side like you could do with Eject. It fits in pretty nicely. Just going to pull it out, and now transfer it into his tank mode. Similar to what we've seen with Eject. Basically, you're going to semi-transform it back into his robot mode, but only by the arms. So we're going to move these pieces, peg them in, and then pull these up. And that pretty much finishes off the tank mode outside of the turret, which we obviously need to attach once again. So we're just going to attach turret inside 2 wedge here. And there we have his tank mode. He does have plastic wheels at the bottom like we've seen with Eject, so he can roll across the table. So he does have that. Anyways, I think this is still really cool outside the fact he does not have the traditional pounders. It is weird that we still have yet to see any information of when the real Rumble decides to get released, and hopefully we'll be able to see more of it soon. Since Hasbro has released most of the cassettes, or at least announced most of the cassettes, but not all of them have been released so far, obviously. So hopefully we'll be able to see the rest of the cassettes released soon. Since it'll be really nice to actually have a full-on Generations release of all the cassettes outside of the Fall of Cybertron ones, since obviously they're not that accurate at all. And these are definitely closer to the original designs. So other than that, I think this is still a worthwhile pickup, even if you have Eject. Obviously, Hasbro has cut some corners by just reusing older molds in the line, but at least it does well for what it needs to do, and I highly recommend picking this up. Anyways, please comment and subscribe, and check out Hero Club. Also, please check out Twitter at Darkon633, and please check down the other channels down below. I'll be back with more transfer reviews in the future, but for now, I'll be seeing you YouTube. Bye.